It is great to hear you sing. Those of you, maybe you're sitting out there and you're saying, boy, that seems like a fun group to be part of. Guess what? It is. And they'll be starting back up again this fall with practices. And when they do songs like this, you even do the Bible story. But I don't know if you guys learned those three guys' Hebrew names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Their Hebrew names were Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Which one do you think is easier to say?
Abednego.
You think Abednego is easier to say? Okay, all right. Interesting names, not the usual names that we have today. So, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys remember the day you were born?
Yes. I have a great memory.
You have a great memory. Fantastic. Okay, how many of you out there remember the day you were born? So not too many of you. Okay, do you remember? Do you remember your birthday?
Yeah.
What's your birthday?
July 30th.
That's the day you were born. Anyway, what's your birthday? August 8th. Okay, we got some summer birthdays coming up. So, most of us don't remember that moment we were born. One of the things that happened first, right before the birth happens, is we say the mother's water breaks. Yeah. Because the baby is inside the mom, and there's this kind of sack of water that they float in. And so that water breaks and all the water comes out, and that's a sign that the baby will be coming out soon. Is that strange, Christian?
I never knew that. For Nicholas to know that and hear the first time in church, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, when we talk about baptism, one of the things that baptism is about is birth and new life into God's family. You want to know one reason we use water for that? Because water is part of the birth story. When we talk about baptism, it's also about cleaning. And guess what we use to clean with? Water. Right. So water shows up in all kinds of different ways in the baptism story. And because we use water, we often use shells. I don't know, a number of you guys can see the shells that are on the altar back there. And because we give out a shell when someone comes for baptism, and I put some shells in the bottom of the bowl. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask... Yes? You want me to... okay. Well, hold on. I'm going to ask Ben first. Will you get the pitcher of water? It's full of water. And make certain you can carry that carefully. Okay? And Evie, could you take this and put it on that chair right here in the choir loft for me? Okay? And then Christian, I'm going to ask you to hold the hymnal open for me. And we're going to do the prayer over the water. There's no water. Well, no, if we take it to the fountain, we have a problem. Do you know what the problem is? We need warm water. Or at least tap water, huh? How is there no water in there? I have a motto. It says, don't go anywhere without forgetting something. And apparently, I forgot something. So in a moment, we're going to have the prayer over the water. But we got to wait for the water to get here. Yeah, that's right. So here we go. Now, here's something else that'll happen in baptism too, is that we have an opportunity to remember our baptism. Because many of us were baptized as babies. And in fact, Brandon John is just a little thing. Look how, there he is right there at the end. He probably is not going to remember this day. Brandon John, he's probably not going to remember his baptism day. He'll get to see some pictures or something like that mom and dad and grandma and granddad will share with him. But so when we do baptism, we want to give people a chance to remember it. And so like when we sing our final hymn today, we're going to be inviting people forward. Just so you know, the invitation is there. If you want to come up on that final hymn, place your hand in the water, remember your baptism, perhaps make the sign of the cross over yourself, you're going to be invited to do that. And you guys are going to have a chance to remember your baptism before anybody else. Because once we get the water here and pray over it, we'll have that chance. What? Okay, now, I ran out of all the things I was planning to say.
I think you're talking about like baptism.
Yeah. The water's here. Fantastic. It does take a little bit more.
What is that sound?
I don't know what that sound is. I want you to hold this for me. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Everyone's gonna know it's you.
All right, now Christian. Now, Ben, I'd like you to move over for me. Christian, will you stand right here, please? And will you turn around so that I can read the words in the book? Okay. And would you make certain the choir mics are off? That might be what we're getting some of the feedback from. Okay, so we're going to pray together. Will you pray with me too, John? Okay. Now you need to hold it up a little higher for me. I know but my eyes just don't see as far away as they used to, okay? Eternal Father, when nothing existed but chaos, you swept across the dark waters and brought forth light. In the days of Noah, you saved those on the ark through water. After the flood, you set in the clouds a rainbow. When you saw your people as slaves in Egypt, you led them to freedom through the sea. Their children you brought through the Jordan to the land which you promised. In the fullness of time, you sent Jesus, nurtured in the water of a womb, baptized by John and anointed by your Spirit. He called his disciples to share in the baptism of his death and resurrection and to make disciples of all nations. Pour out your Holy Spirit to bless this gift of water and those who receive it, to wash away sin and clothe in righteousness throughout life, that dying and being raised with Christ, we may share in his final victory. Amen and amen. So guys, here's what I want to invite you to do. I want you right now, before you get your worksheets, I want to invite you to come to the water. And if you haven't been baptized, think about what might be on your baptism day. And if you have been baptized, put your hand in the water and remember your baptism. Okay? I invite you to do that now. And then we'll hand out our worksheets as well. That's right, I did. I sure did. And we have worksheets here as well. You guys can all stand up, and once you've gotten the water, please be sure to go get your worksheets, and then you can go with moms and dads to the Sunday school class. Come on, guys. Okay, you don't have to.